Welcome to Electrified. It's your host, Dylan Loomis. Quick shout out to my newest patrons, Travis S. and Lawrence H. Thank you for choosing to support the channel. First up today, I want to make sure I'm doing everything I can to be a resource that cuts directly through all of the noise and really helps people when it comes to long-term wealth generation and preservation. Let's start with the fundamentals of Tesla right now. Since January 4th, 2021, Tesla's net income, which I'll show you here momentarily, grew 965%. During a similar time frame, Tesla stock is down 50%. This interface is from TradingView. There will be a link below if you ever want to sign up for this. I personally use the Pro plan. It's only about $300 a year, and hands down, it's the most powerful software I've ever used, because it allows us to chart things exactly like this. So we can compare pretty much any one of Tesla's financial metrics. Here on the bottom, I chose net income and I just turned it into a mountain chart. And here's the data to back up what I said. Tesla's net income over this time up 965%, while the stock price down 49%. I want this to serve as an eye-opener for maybe at least a few of you, to remind us all that no matter what the fundamentals of the company are doing, like we keep talking about with Tesla, the stock market will often be detached from that reality, which has absolutely been the case for the better part of the last year or two. So clearly, Tesla's stock price is being driven by factors that have nothing to do with the net income of the company. However, in the long term, everything will come back and ultimately be tied to the profitability or net income of a company. It just may take a few years to get to that point. Lastly, I would say it's good to be aware of the stock price and its relation to the company fundamentals so that you can spot opportunities and, again, maybe change your dollar cost average amounts in a wise fashion. But I really believe if more people just focused on learning the fundamentals of the company and profitability, operating margin, leverage, all of these core metrics, they would not be as concerned with the short-term Tesla stock price moves. And this is never financial advice, but if inflation keeps trending down and nothing escalates with the war, I really do think toward the end of 2023 into 2024, we could see those brighter days everybody has been talking about. So just remember, Tesla and Elon Musk really are doing their part. I mean, over the last 2 years, growing their net income over 960%, what more could we really ask of them? And I actually just tweeted this out, but I'm mentioning it because I do want to talk about the sentiment around Tesla right now. I said people can boycott whatever they want, it's their choice. The rationale, however, seems insane to me. Elon exposes government and media corruption, and people now want to boycott Tesla. Meanwhile, Volkswagen outright lies for years, cheats on emission tests, and pollutes harmful toxins into the atmosphere that kill people, and yet it seems like nobody really cares too much. So let this serve as a reminder that sentiment can change very quickly. When VW was going through Dieselgate, of course, some people were talking about it and people were upset, myself included, but fast forward maybe a few weeks later and it was pretty much a thing of the past. So I just wanted to share some encouragement for all of us that let's not forget sentiment can change quickly, and at some point the sentiment around Tesla and Tesla stock will indeed turn very bullish yet again. And let's just hammer this point home one more time. Oppenheimer released a new Tesla stock note cutting the price target, but they said Tesla is severely damaged when it comes to the sentiment around Tesla stock right now. One of their main concerns is further Tesla stock sales from Elon if the Twitter financials don't improve, which is totally fair, but listen to what they say. Their analysts continue to believe Tesla is leveraging unparalleled expertise in EV-related materials and AI, coupled with a multi-year data advantage in materials performance and self-driving to drive significant cost and performance advantages in the transportation space. So if you were looking for a microcosm of this short-term noise disconnect to the long-term competitive advantages and fundamentals of Tesla stock, here you get it in one note from Oppenheimer. So I really do genuinely feel for anybody out there that's over leveraged or in a tough spot with Tesla stock prices. Please don't ever think I don't have empathy for you, because I've been in tough spots in the past and I know what it's like, I'm telling you. So to all of you, just hang in there, learn your lessons, and there will be brighter days ahead. And for anyone else, I just have to say, all of this short-term noise really is creating incredible opportunities to really change people's lives again over the next 2 to 4 years if you play it wisely. So moving on, Recurrent Auto did a study and they tested around 7,000 different vehicles from their community across the country in the US. I just want to focus on the verified vehicles, meaning they actually tested these in the real world. It's the ones where the blue bar or the range in freezing temperature is solid. So for the Tesla lineup in the freezing, when compared to 70-degree temperatures, which is the yellow bars, Tesla's verified winter range in these tests was anywhere from 15 to 19% lower than the 70-degree temperature range. In comparison to the other two vehicles we got real-world data for, the Volkswagen ID.4, which had a winter range of 30% lower, and the Mustang Mach-E, also 30% lower. So somewhat limited data here, but from this one study, Tesla vehicles are doing twice as good as these two competitors in freezing temperatures when it comes to range. Tesla tweeted out on Sunday, Giga Berlin just hit the milestone of 3,000 Model Ys produced in 1 week. And if you go back to October 1st, that's when they crossed 2,000 Model Ys per week. So in just over around 2.5 months, they have added another 1,000 units per week in production rate. And you may remember Giga Texas just hit that milestone on December 15th. It'll be very interesting to see where things go from here because we have Tom Zhu and some other people from Fremont reportedly working in Giga Austin to ramp things up, and we still have a lot of the red tape over in Berlin. So Giga Austin has now caught and exceeded Giga Berlin, and we'll see where it goes. And it should go without saying, but if Berlin can add 1,000 Model Ys per week in about 2.5 months, then hitting that 5,000 unit per week goal sometime in Q1 seems right on track. We got an update on the rumored upcoming Tesla factory in Nuevo Leon. Reuters is saying the initial investment for this factory will be between $800 million and $1 billion. But in the future, this number could jump to 10 billion. More importantly, this Mexican Gigafactory would start by building components for current Tesla models, then later possibly building a new model at a lower cost than other factories. So there's at least a chance the next gen or generation 3 platform that Tesla is working on will be built in Mexico. If they are indeed looking again to half the manufacturing costs for this new platform, what a better way to do it than go to Mexico, where I'm sure they're getting all kinds of government incentives and the labor is of course much more affordable. If the official announcement does not happen this Friday, they're saying it could happen in January. And I will say the timeline makes complete sense. Let's say this is announced in January and then roughly 1 year to build out the factory. So that would take us to the beginning of 2024. Then maybe for the first 6 to 12 months, they're producing components for current Tesla vehicles. But we know that in 2024, we should get the Robotaxi or the Generation 3 platform unveil. And then after that unveil in 2024, Tesla can start actually building out the production lines at this new facility in Mexico. I would add, Nuevo Leon better hope that Tesla and Elon really do finalize this deal because they're already putting up signs welcoming Tesla to the area. But hey, at least they're clearly fired up about Elon and Tesla coming to the area. Wouldn't it be nice if our own government was a little bit more welcoming just like this? We've talked about this data in the past, but I like to have charts saved if I need to reference them in the future, so maybe you can screenshot this one, just going over the efficiency of different fuel forms, starting from the actual source of that power and going down all the way to the energy actually delivered to the wheels in the end. Direct electrification far and away more efficient than the rest, coming in at 77% compared to 33% for hydrogen, 20% for diesel, and 16% for gas. This right here was an excellent tweet thread on Tesla and their Megapack production in Lathrop and what it could mean to the bottom line for Tesla over the next year or two, so I want to share the main highlights. We know that in Lathrop, they're now producing these Megapack XLs, which are bigger than the prior version, and they're ramping these at the new factory in Lathrop. Insiders are saying at the end of October this year, Tesla had ramped to 25 of these Megapack XLs per day. In the configurator, it says the earliest delivery is Q3 of 2024, which would equate to a backlog of around 16,000 units. The factory capacity is 40 gigawatt hours, which is equivalent to around 10,000 megapacks per year, or a 1.5 year backlog. A megapack costs $2.1 million if you buy one, or if you buy in bulk, aka 100 plus, they'll cost you $1.8 million each with that 20% volume discount. If you just split the order mix, that would be around $32 billion in revenue. So using these calculated or estimated numbers from Zero Sum Game, here's what we get. For the cost of goods sold number, that would be around $1.1 billion, yielding around $800 million in profit per megapack if these assumptions are correct. And to summarize, in terms of risk reward with Tesla at $150 per share, if Lathrop's megapack backlog is worth around $4 per share, this earnings stream could be recession proof because most of the customers will be utility companies and municipalities. And if you add in the potential margins that we just walked through for this megapack production business at scale, that business alone at a 25 times multiple would be equivalent to an extra $100 per share. Again, if we're starting with the $4 per share baseline, which comes from the megapack order backlog. Then, if you add in the cash that Tesla has on its balance sheet right now, which is in the neighborhood of $22 billion, divided by around 3.4 billion shares, that's $7 per share, meaning the implied value of Tesla's everything else, right? All of these options in the future, megapacks, insurance, FSD, robotaxis, Optimus, compact car, is all being valued by the market at around $43 per share. When again, if these assumptions are in the neighborhood, which in my opinion they are, I read through the whole thing, which is why I'm sharing it, that works out to $4 a share, throwing on a 25 multiple, which is reasonable for a business that has margins of over 40%, including the Inflation Reduction Act tax credits. This megapack backlog order book alone could be reasonably valued at $100 per share. And right now, the stock market is valuing all of Tesla's everything else at around $43 per share. These right here are the exact types of topics and things that deserve more attention and more time for me to sit down and walk through with everybody. So again, that is coming. Stay tuned. Here we have Akio Toyota making some more announcements about their trepidation with EVs. People involved in the auto industry are largely a silent majority. The silent majority is wondering whether EVs are really okay to have as a single option, but they think it's the trend, so they can't speak out loudly. Toyota rooted his skepticism in part in this, the challenge of securing parts and raw materials for EV batteries. However, if you look around, no one is really being silent about EVs. Everywhere you look, there are major announcements and initiatives being set in place for the industry to move over to electrification. I would also add, Toyota hasn't really been silent at all. They've been pretty open and vocal about their skepticism of moving fully toward EVs. So just more confusion from Toyota. We touched on this a while back, but it was more speculative at that point. Apparently, Reuters has investigated and confirmed what we thought may be true. Basically, automotive suppliers for both Hyundai and Kia in the South, in rural areas near Alabama, have been working basically in tandem with different staffing agencies to employ child labor at its factories. A representative from the Labor Department said it's shocking. The ages involved, the danger of what they're being employed to do, it's a clear violation. But the main point I want to drive home with this storyline, as things get harder and harder for legacy OEMs to stay profitable as they switch to EVs, and as they try to catch Tesla, they are going to be so tempted to continually cut corners. Pretty incredible feat right here. Starlink now has over 1 million active subscribers. This is so impressive because if you go back to May of this year, Starlink only had around 400,000 subscribers. Thus, in the neighborhood of a 2.5x in just about 6 months. Not only that, but SpaceX may be launching its second generation satellites this month. Some users in the US have been reporting slower speeds this year because of congestion on the network, too many people using it, so these next generation satellites are supposed to alleviate some of those problems. Perhaps the most exciting news for at least a certain geographical cohort of you guys watching, the first appearance of Tesla's FSD has been found in the UK running on an internal build of single stack. For over a year, Tesla has been testing their upcoming suite of autonomy features with the help of dozens of primarily secret employees. TeslaScope saying they've confirmed this via stories shared by prior employees, and they've all basically talked about the secrecy of this program. And even after a year, not a single accident nor incident has occurred, reportedly. Of course, NDAs have been signed and they can't share too much, but testing has been taking place primarily on test tracks and in their own parking lots when possible, but also on local roads and motorways nearby. Unfortunately, besides the UK, which yes is right-hand drive, meaning FSD is functioning on a build like that, they've not been given permission to share what other specific countries this is happening in. So this is really exciting. I kind of in the back of my mind always thought they were already doing testing there, but maybe just for left-hand drive countries to keep things simple. But the fact they're doing it with right-hand drive does make me a little more bullish. Now, of course, we're still going to be subject to regulations and the authorities, so who knows how long all of that will take, but this is excellent news. Tesla is working to expand FSD globally. It's just so incredibly exciting to think about what Tesla's margins could look like over the next 5 to 7 years if FSD just keeps improving as it is. That'll do it for today. I hope you all have a wonderful day. Please like the video if you did, and a huge thank you to all of my Patreon supporters.